Solving question number 4a, I noticed some of you are doing the long way where you literally finding the inverse function first. So what you are doing, you are changing the x into the y, and then you are factorizing your y accordingly. And then when you reach to your y, you are saying that the f inverse is such, and now only you are trying to substitute the negative 1. Okay, you are look at your a here, the question a. So you are doing 9 plus 2 divided by 5, 11 over 5. Same thing you are doing for f inverse 1. I mean, you are very hard working. 7 divided by 3. But do you have to do this tedious process? I mean, you don't have to. You remember the concept that we did earlier? What is the relationship between function and its inverse? Okay, let me illustrate by a photo. This one. So now, when they are saying you have to look for f inverse negative 1, what is this? This is the input of the inverse. This is the input for the inverse function, right? So let's look at this diagram here. Input. So this is your f inverse. See, look at the arrow. It's just going backwards like that, correct? So the input of your inverse, it's here. So when you're putting negative 1 here, you trying to find a value here. But you know the idea actually starts from the function itself. So when I reverse the direction here, look at this. When I reverse the direction over here, don't you think the negative 1 is actually the output of the f? I hope you see this. So you're trying to put something into the function, and it happens to be that the output is negative 1. So this is the idea that you have to use to solve it very fast. So I am looking for my input of the f. So the fastest way is 4x minus 9. You put your function and you just equate to negative 1. What will you get? Don't you think it's similar to that now? So what is this? This is the input of f, which is literally the output of the inverse. Okay, try to solve question 6 the similar way. Let's try to solve question 6 the similar way. Okay, you give a try using the same concept. And are you getting the answer quick? So now they are saying f you need to look for this. So what is the meaning of this? Let's interpret this. So this means input of inverse is negative 1. So if I reverse the process, what will happen? Let's try. You have your function, then if you inverse this, it's going to be like that. So there is a negative 1 here. So you're looking for this value over here. So what is the question mark to the function? See, this becomes the input. And the negative 1 is actually becoming the output of your f. So another way to interpret this is output of f. So to do this quickly, you just have to do 6x minus 2 over x. See, you are inputting something. You are inputting something into the function. And what do you input? We'll just put it as x. Unknown, right? And you're going to get negative 1 as an outcome. So you just solve by quadratic equation. You factorize appropriately. And the question say x has to be more than 0, so we reject this. You're only going to get x equals to half. But what are you doing actually? You know what you are doing? Okay, let me show you the long way for the same question. You know what you're doing? You're being a hard-working student and then you're doing this. Of course, you multiply everything with the x. And then now you're asking yourself what to do. Right? In the search of the inverse function, you go and change the x into the y and y into the x. And then you try to bring the y together. And some of you rearrange so that you get the negative 2 into 2. And then now you're asking what to do. And there comes the tedious process of completing the square. So you try to complete the square for this one. Don't you think this is really wrong? I mean long, not wrong. Of course this is right. You had a square, so you bring this over here. Since the x is greater than 0 here, so we are just going for a positive. And then you say that this is your f inverse now. And now what you're doing, you're substituting the negative 1. So the process is really tedious. So negative 1 over 12. You get 1 over 144 plus 1 over 3. If you put this in the calculator, you are actually getting a half. But this is seriously a tedious process. So understand the concept so that you can solve it quickly.